Our MC, Yu, wakes up from under the mountain where he was undergoing his cultivation, only to learn from a hologram left behind by his master that it has been 2,000 years, and there is no longer magic in the world. Yu takes a deep breath and assumes his master is saying trash. However, assessing the situation, he notices that spiritual energy is much weaker than when he went down for his cultivation. At the same time, Yu is confused since he only left for 2 days, but it has been 2,000 years on the outside. To confirm this, he rises to the top of the mountain where he sees some dudes in black beating up a young man. The men in black also spot him, and they fire their weapons at him. He figures out that the men in black have no cultivation, so he decides to capture them and question them. Yu retaliated with a casual electric beam from his fingers, expecting to stun them. Instead, they dropped dead like flies hit with pesticide. Yu is disappointed that people in the future are very weak, since the attack he used shouldn't have terminated people from his own time. In addition to this, he was surprised that the young man getting beaten up didn't survive the ordeal, as he considered it to be a minor injury. He moves over to the dude to see his phone ringing. With some miracle, he picks up the phone, and from the call, he hears a lady Rousey shouting the dead man's name, which turns out to be the same name as our MC's. Rousey tells Yu that she will never marry someone as wretched as him, but Yu, on the other hand, is surprised that the device is capable of transmitting waves to far distances. Yu then decides to adopt the dead man's identity since they both share the same name. He buries the dude and promises to fight his enemies. Meanwhile, at Heiju University, Zaioro is seen complaining to her friend, Kyankian, about marrying Yu. She cannot believe that her family is threatening to cut her off if she doesn't marry Yu, just because Yu's grandfather saved her own grandfather. On the other hand, Yu has learned that the dead dude he is impersonating is from the university, and he is flying there to learn more about him. He flies past an airplane where a kid spots him, but when the kid tells her mother that there is a flying man outside, she obviously doesn't believe her and assumes that her daughter is seeing things. Suddenly, Yu runs out of spiritual energy, and he crashes into a building before falling to the ground like a low-budget superhero. He is lying down there when a kid with a cat shows up. Surprisingly, the young girl Yin is nice, and she offers Yu food since he seems like a homeless person. Yu then sits down with the girl, who offers him some snacks. Momentarily, the girl's mother shows up with her bodyguards. One of the guards, Hai, wastes no time, attacking Yu, assuming that he wanted to kidnap their little girl. However, Yu is able to move away from him before Yinian clears the girl, revealing what happened. Yinian's mother and Hai apologize to Yu, but he doesn't take offense, since he understands that they were just trying to protect their little girl. They turn out to be rich people, and Yinian's mother appreciates Yu for looking after her daughter. As an appreciation, she gives him an envelope full of money. When it is time for Yinian and her parents to leave, Yu notices that Yinian is suffering from a strange illness. He brings out a pill and tells her to take it whenever she is feeling unwell. With this, the family takes their leave. Yinian's mother tells Hai that they have an appointment with a strange miracle doctor, Zhu. This is concerning Yinian's health, and Yinian's mother soon notices the pill in her child's hand. She tells her to throw it away, but Yinian begged to keep it a little longer, treating it like a magical toy. In her thoughts, Yinian's mother knows her daughter doesn't have longer to live, but hopes Zhu can do something to help them. Suddenly, Yinian passes out in the car, and the lady urges Hai to engage his fast and furious mode, so that they can get to the miracle doctor in time. They soon arrive at Zhu's residence, and Yinian's mother rushes over to him, carrying her daughter in hand, begging him to save her. Zhu collects Yinian from her mother, assuring the lady not to fret because healing the sick is his job. Zhu examines Yinian's status, and a look of disappointment covers his face. He then tells the lady that there is nothing he can do to help Yinian. He urges the mother to prepare for the worst. Yinian's mother refuses to accept defeat, and she falls to her knees, begging the doctor to please save her daughter. She assures the doctor that she is willing to forfeit her life as long as it means healing her daughter. Zhu then tells the woman that the only thing he can do is to ease Yinian's pain. He says there is only one way to restore Yinian's health, and this is by acquiring the 9-turn rejuvenation pill, which is a divine medicine from 2,000 years ago. However, there is no way to get this pill because the formula for it has been lost. Suddenly, the smell of the pill Yinian is holding catches Zhu's attention. He rushes over to Yinian and picks the pill. He takes a closer look at the pill and realizes that the pill is giving off the same vibe as the pill he is talking about. On the other hand, Yinian's mother is confused as to why the pill is still with Yinian. She tells Zhu that the pill was given to her by a homeless dude, saying it could help her. This is when Zhu drops the big bomb, telling the woman that the pill he is holding seems to be the 9 turns rejuvenation pill. The woman is shocked to hear this, as tears run down her face because her daughter is finally getting a lifeline. Zhu wastes no time feeding Yinian the pill. All the while, he is thinking about the strange dude who gave Yinian the pill. He assumes that he is a divine being who has descended to experience human life. He realizes that it is imperative that they befriend the dude. Zhu then tells the mother that her daughter will definitely recover after a short rest. The woman thanks Zhu for his help, but he lets her know that he isn't the one to be receiving the accolades. He tells Yinian's mother that the gentleman who gave her the pill is the one deserving of the thanks. In fact, he wants the woman to introduce him to the young man because he has a lot to learn from him. Yinian's mother then reveals that she also doesn't know the young man. She realizes that she almost ended her daughter when she wanted to discard the pill. I then reminds the woman that they met the strange man at Heiju University. Since he is still in his 20s, they believe that he is still a student. Without wasting time, the woman suggests that they rush back to the university. She tells Hai that she needs to find the young man who saved her daughter and repay his kindness. Meanwhile, Zhu is aiming to help Yu keep his identity hidden, since he believes that he is a divine being. In no time, Hai rushes out of the room and heads to the university. Meanwhile, Yu was strolling down the street, munching on chicken lap like it was the greatest treasure of modern civilization, when the phone rang again. He picks up the call and hears the voice of a lady, Jo, asking him if he has got to the university. Surprisingly, the voice resembles that of his master's wife, whose name is Jo too. Jo wants him to come to the mansion, and Yu assures her that he will be there. After the call, Yu starts wondering why there are so many coincidences happening. He remembers that before his master disappeared, he left some things stored up for him, and he hopes that they can provide the answers to his questions. Yu then heads to the Yunwu Mountain Villa, which is the Jiang residence. Meanwhile, Xiaoru and Kaienqian are riding llamas while talking about Yu. Rousey doesn't want Yu around, but Kaienqian urges him to meet the dude first because he might turn out to be a handsome person. Just then, they hear a voice at the estate gate, asking if Jo is around. The girls are hiding behind a flower and they can see Yu at the gate. Since they haven't seen him before, they start wondering who the handsome dude at the gate is. However, their intrusive thoughts take over, and they assume that Yu might enter the house to have fun with them. Kaienqian then suggests that they call the Lion King to handle Yu. Rousey is worried since the supposed Lion King is very aggressive. Kaienqian tells Rousey that the lion will only scare the dude away. With this, Rousey calls out the Lion King, believing that it will scare Yu off. The Lion King appears from behind the flowers, looking all scary as it dashes toward Yu. However, they left picking their jaws from the floor when the Lion King, which turns out to be a mastiff dog, falls in front of Yu and starts playing with him. At the same time, Jo, who wasn't at the house before, arrives. The moment Yu sees Jo, what comes to his mind is that she is his master's wife. He calls her that, shocking the lady, who asks him what type of title Yu has given to her. Jo smiles, telling Yu to call her just Aunt Jo, the same way he has been calling her since he was a kid. Yu is blown away because she looks the same as his master's wife and even has the same voice as her. Just then, Rousey rushes out of the house to hug Jo, who turns out to be her mother. She claims that Yu just barged into the house and scared the Lion King. Jo immediately smacks Rousey on the head for being rude. She tells her daughter that the person standing in front of her is the Yu, whom she has been hearing of. Rousey cannot believe her eyes when she realizes that the handsome dude she has been admiring from behind the flowers is Yu. Jo mentions that Rousey was always following Yu around when she was a kid. Jo then walks into the house, saying she has something to do but urges Rousey to take Yu around. Yu tries to be nice by stretching his hand to the girl, but she rejects him, telling him that she would not care about him if not for her mother. Since Jo looks exactly like her master's wife from 2,000 years ago, Yu decides to treat her like family. Yu steps into the estate and immediately gets hit with a sinister feeling. He looks up to see that there is a spell on the house. The spell is the Blood Yin Bone Demon Formation. Yu easily figures out that the spell has been there for 18 years, consuming the vitality of those living at the house. However, Yu still considers the spell a trash one since it is very weak compared to what someone from 2,000 years ago would have pulled off. Rousey soon notices that Yu is standing in one place, and she assumes that he is blown away by the magnificent estate. Rousey then explains that the entire area used to be the biggest abandoned place in the city. 18 years prior, her father found a feng shui master to help him modify the earth's veins there. Not long after this, the city's economy started to develop, and the entire area became a residential area for the wealthy. Yu then asks Rousey if the feng shui master is powerful. Rousey says she is not a believer, but the said master is quite famous in the domestic metaphysical world. Apparently, her grandfather also fell sick some time ago, and it was the feng shui master who saved him. After hearing this, Yu realizes that everything is a bit suspicious. It was the feng shui master who modified the earth vein, and at the same time, he was also the one who saved the grandfather from dying. Yu figures out that the feng shui master must be involved somehow, and he decides that he will have to keep an eye out for him. Rousey continues showing you around, and just then one of the guards comes rushing over. He addresses you as a young master, but Rousey quickly cuts in, telling the guard to call you by his name. The guard then informed him that lunch was ready and Joe was waiting. The mere mention of food lit Yu's face up like a kid promised free ice cream. After lunch, Zairu complains to her friend again. She tells Kyankian that Yu was all nice to her mother while they were eating, which is very weird. He believes that Yu has some ulterior motives he is scheming. Kyankian then advises Rousey to stay at the university campus and not come home to avoid the entire issue. She even adds that Rousey can join Professor Wang's project to make sure she has an excuse to stay at school. Rousey considers this solid advice, as she plans to stay in the school for half a year without coming back home. She even plans to give the servants a month's vacation to make sure that Yu is the only person left at the estate. Kyankian has a good laugh at this because she considers it a very mean move from Rousey. Elsewhere, Yu gives Joe one of the pills, telling her that it has health benefits that will benefit the patriarch Jiang. Joe takes the pill and thanks Yu for having such a kind heart. Not long after this, Joe leaves. Yu is glad that Joe is helping him because he now has a legal identity. Yu plans to rest for the day and head to the university to learn more. Just as Joe drives out of the estate, Yu senses a killing intent in the air. It turns out that the subordinates of the men in black that he accidentally wiped out at the mountain have located him, and they are planning to terminate him. Yu dashes into the woods, and the assailants follow him. Before he knows it, he finds himself surrounded by the bad guys, who are eager to avenge their fallen comrades. The leader of the unit tells Yu that he is very brave to have taken out his unit. He then gives Yu two choices. He tells him to either kneel down and terminate himself. He is about to mention the second option when Yu vanishes before their very eyes. This shocks them, and one of the bad guys mentions that there is something weird going on. The boss also admits that the dude is pretty skilled, which was how he was able to terminate his boys at the mountain. The boss orders his men to scatter and make sure that they find Yu. The boss is excited about the whole chase, but at the same time, he is worried about the fact that Yu has suddenly disappeared. He knows that learning Yu's technique will raise his status. He whips out a strange compass, which he considers his secret weapon. He is confident that with the compass he can find Yu. He reads the compass, and to his surprise, the compass is pointing directly at him. Fear grips him when Yu suddenly appears behind him. He smacks him so hard that he passes out. When he wakes up, he sees himself and the rest of his gang tied up. Yu asks them why they are hunting him. The unit leader admits that Yu's skill is interesting, but at the same time, he is worried about their boss at the top. He sees his boss as the ultimate evil, and rather than facing him, he chooses death. Just then, the unit leader and the rest of the team bite down on a poison pill stored in their mouth. Yu is surprised that the assassins would rather end their own lives than subject themselves to questioning from him. Yu wonders what sort of person the former inhabitant of the body has angered to have sent a death squad after him. Yu figures out that he needs to train harder because the boss at the top is not an ordinary fellow. However, Yu decides that going to Heiju University takes priority because he needs to learn more. He conjures a blue flame that burns out the bodies without leaving a trace. Meanwhile, the big boss learns that there is no news from the death squad that was sent after Yu. He is surprised when he realizes that they are all dead. From the information that they gathered from the drones, they figured out that there was a bit of a struggle before their life signs suddenly disappeared. The big boss is enraged by this, and he unleashes a scary aura that envelopes the room before telling his subordinates to send someone competent to go after Yu. Later on, Yu visits a military parade, and this is when he figures out that he still has a long way to go. The types of machines and weapons he saw at the parade were so terrifying that Yu figured out that he needed to keep a low profile to avoid trouble catching up to him. While walking through the street, he walks past a man who suddenly suffers a heart attack. While others are staring at the man, Yu rushes over to help him. Yu cannot believe that humans have become so cold that they don't even care if someone is dying beside them. Since his master always told him not to ignore injustice, Yu decides to help the man. He feeds him one of the pills and helps him sit against the wall. Yu lets the unconscious dude know that he is lucky to have met him. He stands up to walk away, and he urges the dude to be a good person. Momentarily, the man's subordinate shows up, waking him from the unconscious state that he is in. He asks him how he is feeling. The man is surprised that he is all better, even though he clearly suffered an attack. Just then, it occurs to him that while he was in a daze, a young fellow fed him a pill. He realizes that he woke up only to feel brand new. The man tells his subordinate that he doesn't know the identity of the person who helped him, but they need to find him and repay the kindness. He tells his subordinates to send out people to help find his benefactor. Rousey and her friend are in class, talking about their freedom, when the teacher tells everyone in class to keep their mouths shut so that they can welcome their new classmate. Yu enters the room but has changed his looks to appear different. Rousey and her friend immediately start crushing on him. However, Kian suspects that the dude looks strangely familiar. They both suspect that it is Yu, but they trash the idea since Yu barely knows his way around, and there is no way he is going to locate the school. The teacher then urges Yu to introduce himself to the class. Yu then decides to give a fake name to keep a low profile. Kian and Rousey start making plans on how to get the dude. After the brief introduction, the teacher starts looking for where he can sit. Without a single strand of shame, Kian gets on her feet to tell the teacher that Yu is free to sit with her. The teacher asks Zayaru for her opinion, and she lets her know that she would like Yu to sit next to her. Realizing that the situation is getting complicated, Yu decides to pick out his own seat. Just then, Yu walks past Rousey, and he approaches a cool, blue-haired girl, Wooting. He asks her if he can sit with her, and she wastes no time in accepting the offer. Meanwhile, Rousey's crush, Jiasheng, and his gang of backbenchers notice that Rousey likes Yu. Jiasheng decides that he will have to warn Yu to desist from his girl after class. Just as planned, the dudes go after Yu after their lecture is over. Jiasheng pushes Yu to the wall, telling him to stay away from Rousey. Yu could have easily taken them down, but he doesn't want trouble on his first day at school. He tells Jiasheng that he is going to stay away from Rousey. Yu walks away, assuring him that he is going to make sure that he doesn't stay in Rousey's vicinity. Jiasheng is surprised that Yu agreed to the deal pretty easily, and he considers him a smart person. As he walks away, Yu decides to teach Jiasheng a lesson for being too arrogant. He proceeds to use a little of his power to conjure a flame, and he shoots it into Jiasheng's hair as he walks away. Jiasheng and his boys are busy boasting when they suddenly notice that his hair is on fire. The next thing Yu hears is Jiasheng's scream echoing through the building, begging for someone to put out the fire. Yu is glad that a little out of his power was able to do the trick. Yu then decides to visit the library, where he can learn more about the things of the current era. Surprisingly, Kian and Rousey are also using the same pathway. They are busy discussing what happened in class when they spot the devil himself walking towards them. Kian immediately assumes that Yu is looking for her. Just as he is about to reach them, a bird flies past them and lets off its droppings on Yu's shoe. This causes Yu to bend down to check out the disgusting liquid on his shoe. The pose he takes in bending down shocks the girls, as they assume that Yu is about to propose. Kian smiles, telling Rousey that the dude is about to propose to her. Rousey also misunderstands the situation as she runs off, claiming that she is not ready to date yet since she is still very young. Yu is in disbelief when he sees this because he doesn't even have a flower with him and doesn't know why they would assume such. Meanwhile, Jiasheng is in the distance and he saw everything that happened. He takes it the wrong way too, believing that Yu was going after his girl. Due to the flames burning off his hair and clothes, Jiasheng has turned into a Temu version of Saitama. Jiasheng is pissed and he promises to annihilate Yu. Since Yu entered the library and there is surveillance there, Jiasheng decides to wait for him to exit before he makes his move. In preparation for this, he starts to sharpen his knife, like a butcher. He plans to remove Yu's eggs so he can stop going after his beautiful girl. In the library, Yu heads to a section where most people don't take books from. This is a section where he can get cultivation methods. Some students see him taking out a pinyin handbook and they make fun of him. Just then, Yu notices that there is a certain room in the library that prevents unauthorized personnel from entering. Apparently, the room has ancient documents stored in it. Yu suspects that there are cultivation methods stored in the room because of the ancient writings on the door. Yu cannot resist the urge and he proceeds to enter the room. The students are shocked to see this, and when Professor Wang enters the room, he reminds the students that they are in a library, not a place where they can chat. Apparently, the professor is coming to check something in the ancient room. He is surprised when he sees that the room door is open. The security apologizes for this, saying he went to the restroom and probably someone entered while he was away. The security guy rushes into the room to find Yu going through the books in the room. The guard screams at Yu, telling him that he is not allowed to enter. Yu subtly tells the guard that he only wants to study, and he is surprised that he is not allowed to. The guard mocks Yu, asking him if he is qualified to read ancient texts. Wang also enters the room, telling Yu that ancient texts are precious documents. He urges Yu to put down the books. Just when the guard is about to kick him out, Wang realizes that Yu looks strangely familiar. Apparently, Wang is the man who suffered an attack on the street and was saved by Yu. Wang immediately recognizes Yu as the benefactor he has been looking for. The guard is still talking about punishing Yu when Wang tells him to apologize because Yu is his savior. The guard is in disbelief when he hears this, and he realizes that he might have made things bad for himself because he is trying to get close to Wang. Just then, the other students walk into the room, telling Wang that Yu is not a special person because he can't even read the ancient texts. They tell Wang that Yu deserves to be punished, too. At this point, Yu realizes that he has gotten on the bad side of the students, and he aims to resolve it pretty quickly. Just then, Yu starts reading out the book in his hand, which is detailed in ancient texts. Wang is shocked when he sees this, and he realizes that Yu is actually getting everything correctly according to his research. In fact, he is spelling out the text he has not been able to decipher in a long time. The students are also shocked to see this, and they confirm from Wang's reaction that Yu is saying the right thing. Wang is so impressed that he plans to bow to Yu. Yu sees this and believes that Wang is suffering from an illness. He stares at Wang, and this is when he recognizes him as the dude he saved on the street. Yu doesn't know that Wang is trying to pay homage to him, and he assumes that he is only trying to trick him into giving him more pills. Yu then runs out of the room, claiming that he has something that he needs to attend to. Wang is surprised to see Yu running, and he concludes that his savior is always disappearing like the wind. Wang then asks the guard about the book that Yu borrowed. Wang is blown away when he sees that it is a pinyin handbook. He assumes that Yu is a scholar, and he decides to study the book too. Meanwhile, Jiasheng and his gang are still waiting for Yu outside the library. The moment Yu steps out of the building, he figures out that there are two groups coming after him. Since this is the case, he decides to have fun with them. Yu heads to the Yunwu villa, and once he arrives at the estate, he tells those who have been tailing him to show themselves. Jiasheng and his men are shocked to learn that they have been discovered. Realizing that there is no reason to hide again, the gang emerges from their hiding place. Suddenly, another group of trained assassins appear from behind and knock out Jiasheng and his men. Yu wonders where the assassins came from since they have been tailing him since he left the academy. Just then, the assassins tell Yu to hand over the thing he has with him. Yu is genuinely confused, as he doesn't know what they are talking about. The assassins don't believe him, and they go after Yu to beat him until he reveals the information that they want. Before they can cut him, Yu leaps into the air, and he prepares to teach them a very good lesson since they are the ones who came to his turf. Yu runs toward the main building, and just then, the spell on the house activates and spiritual chains emerge to grab the assassins. The assassins realize that they are about to be crushed, and they start begging Yu to spare them. Since Yu has been aiming to break the spell, he waits for it to take care of the assassins before he fires a magic blast into the spell's core to destroy it. Feng Shui Master, who puts up the spell, suddenly feels the spell breaking off, and this affects him, causing him to cough up blood. Feng immediately calls on his disciple, Alan, telling him to head to the villa to check out what has happened. Later on, the big bad boss of the assassins witnesses what Yu did, and he realizes that he will need to request a special team to take out Yu. He is determined to wipe out Yu, no matter how strong he appears to be. That night, Yu is walking through the street when a suspicious short dude runs into him. The dude falls to the ground, staring at Yu like a crybaby. Suddenly, the strange, short, chubby dude you just saw earlier got back on his feet and sprinted past him like Usain Bolt if Usain Bolt had asthma. Yu feels that something is wrong, and this is when he realizes that his wallet is missing. He screams out, but the short, chubby dude is already gone. The pickpocket escapes to an alley to check out the wallet, but he is hit with disappointment when he realizes that the wallet is empty. Soon afterward, Yu heads to the university dorm. He knocks on his room, and his roommate opens the door. The moment the door opens, it turns out to be the short, chubby loser who stole his wallet. The thief also recognized Yu, and it immediately became an exceptionally awkward situation. Yu decides not to address the situation. He just tells the guy that he is his roommate. Ziwen also decides not to give off the impression that he knows Yu. He decides to treat Yu well as a payment for the shameful thing that he did. He welcomes Yu into the room, and when he enters, Yu scans the room to see how a 21st century dorm is built. Still trying to act nice, Ziwen asks Yu if he will be interested in dinner. Yu accepts the offer, and Ziwen takes him to an outdoor restaurant where they can eat and also learn more about each other. Just then, the waiter shows up to tell them that their grilled meat is ready. Surprisingly, the waiter turns out to be Yu's classmate, Wuding. The two are shocked to see each other, and Wuding reveals that she is working at the establishment as a part-time worker. Suddenly, a rude customer slams his hand on the table, complaining that his order is taking too long. Wuding apologizes for the delay, assuring the dude that the order will soon be ready. The annoying dude then argues that he wants compensation for his order coming in late. Since Wuding is pretty, he suggests that she come with him to a hotel room so that they can have fun together. Wuding politely tells the dude not to make such an extreme decision. The dude stands up from where he is sitting and claims that Wuding is embarrassing him. He tries to act all bossy by mentioning his name, Zhang Yu. He claims that he is a big name in the area, and just as he is about to lay his hands on Wuding, Yu jumps in, stopping him. This pisses Zhang Yu off, and he berates Yu for meddling in his affair. He advises Yu to leave before he gets seriously hurt. Even Ziwin is scared when he hears this, and he suggests that they call the police. However, Yu mentions that Wuding is his classmate, and he can't sit back and watch her honor stripped from her. Zhang Yu then orders his men to go after Yu. As they rush toward him, Ziwin pulls out his phone to call the police. Yu remains unfazed as the dudes rush toward him. With ease, he takes them all out, shocking Ziwin and Wuding. Wuding cannot believe that Yu knows martial arts. Sweat runs down Zhang Yu's face as he cannot believe what is happening right in front of him. Zhang Yu tries to act like a cool dude by pulling out a knife, telling Yu that he is not scared. He charges at Yu with his knife, but Yu easily collects the knife from him. In no time, Zhang Yu is on his knees begging for forgiveness. Wuding thanks Yu for the help because without him, things would have gone really badly. Ziwin also commends Yu for being such a cool guy. Yu tries to be modest as he tells the two that he only did what a normal classmate would do. Wuding then asks Yu if he will be willing to walk her home because she is still scared from the whole ordeal. Yu agrees, and he holds her hand to walk her home. On their way to her place, he asks Wuding why she is working so late into the night. Wuding then reveals that her mother is very sick and the medical bills are high. She decides to work a part-time job while also studying to help cater to things. Yu realizes that the girl's situation is a pitiful one, and he figures out that he will have to help her in the future. Wuding notices that Yu is carried away, and she asks him if there is anything wrong, but he tells her not to worry about it. They soon arrive at the house, and Wuding tells Yu that he is free to go back. Yu suggests that she enter the apartment before he leaves. Just then, Yu notices that the presence of spiritual energy in the area is at a high concentration. He decides to stay around and investigate the issue. Suddenly, a note with "Shady Landlord" written on it falls down in front of him. This tells Yu something that he has been missing. The next day, Yu is in the restroom while Jiasheng and his men appear to finish what they started the other day. They run toward him and cover him with a sack, while they pull out a baseball bat to beat him with it. However, the situation quickly turns around, and Jiasheng and his men get beaten up instead. The three are totally disfigured, with Jiasheng begging to be forgiven. Yu lets them know that they will have to do better to get his forgiveness. Jiasheng then asks what Yu wants from them. Yu wastes no time, revealing that he wants money. Jiasheng suggests that he pay Yu 1,000 yuan, but he gets slapped across the face. Yu lets him know that the money is too small for him, and he even hits him on the head. Jishwang quickly begs to be spared before Yu turns his head into a drum. Yu initially suggests that he wants 10,000, but when Jiasheng complains about this, he ends up taking 100,000 from him. Yu is pleased with the money as it is enough to rent a house. Jiasheng and his men bow to Yu, wishing him a good day ahead. After Yu leaves, one of Jiasheng's men asks him if they are going to sit around and allow Yu to get away with beating them up. Jiasheng suggests that they maintain a low profile while hiding what happened to them from people. Jiasheng then tells his men that the most important thing is to visit the infirmary, and afterward, they can find a way to deal with Yu. In class, Yu asks Wuding if her family is looking for a tenant, and she says yes. However, she is surprised as to how Yu knows this. Yu reveals that he saw the sign when he walked her home the other day. Because of this, Yu is planning to rent a place in their apartment. Yu assures Wuding that he has the rent with him already. The teacher notices that Yu is not concentrating in class, and she throws the chalk at him. Chalk hits him on the head, and Yu uses the opportunity to tell the teacher that her health is deteriorating. He suggests that she take some medication to regulate her imbalanced yin and yang. The teacher takes this the wrong way and angrily tells Yu to get out of the class. Since Yu is not even interested in being in the class, he stands up to go to the library. Before leaving, he tells Wuding to leave the room for him. After Yu is gone, the teacher continues the class, only to get a call from Professor Wang. The teacher is shocked when she realizes that she is getting a call from such an influential scholar. She asks the professor what she can do for him, and he tells the teacher to tell Yu to meet him so he can join his Dakin project team. The teacher drops the call, assuring him that she will relay the message to Yu. The teacher turns to the class, asking them who Yu is. Wuding raises her hand, telling her that she just kicked Yu out of the class. The teacher is stunned to hear this, and she immediately dashes out of the class since she knows how powerful Wang is. She rushes to the library where she finds Yu reading. Yu is surprised to see the teacher in the library when she is supposed to be in class. Teacher apologizes to Yu for the way she spoke to him in class. Yu is further confused as to why he is getting an apology. The teacher then reveals that he has been invited to join Professor Wang's project. She figures out that Yu is a hotshot to have been invited to join the project. However, Yu lets the teacher know that he has no idea who Professor Wang is. The teacher lets him know that he will know who the professor is when he meets him. She tells him that the professor is waiting for him at the History Museum to the east. After getting the descriptions, Yu continues with the book he is reading, further shocking the teacher. She asks Yu if she is not eager to meet the professor, and Yu calmly replies that he needs to finish the book he is reading before going to the museum. Later that day, Jiasheng's men ask him what he plans to do about Yu. Jiasheng then reveals that he knows the gangster who controls the street, and by this he means Zhang Yu. He plans to call Zhang Yu to help deal with Yu. Just then, Yu walks past the infirmary, and Jiasheng smiles, believing that it is the right time for him to cripple Yu. He quickly puts a call through to Zhang Yu, telling him that he needs his help to deal with someone. Being the tough guy that he is, Zhang Yu immediately heads to the university on his motorbike. Yu is minding his business when Jiasheng appears behind him, telling him that he is about to get payback for the 100,000 that he stole from him. Yu grins as he stares at Jiasheng, asking him if he would like to get another round of beating. Jiasheng believes that Yu beating him is just beginner's luck, but he already has someone coming over to deal with him. Momentarily, Zhang Yu arrives at the scene, asking Jiasheng to point him in Yu's direction. Jiasheng points to Yu, and Zhang Yu almost pisses his pants when he realizes that he is the same person who almost beat him some days ago. Yu turns around, asking Zhang Yu if he is the one who has been sent to deal with him. Fear grips Zhang Yu, and when Jiasheng won't keep his mouth shut, Zhang Yu slaps him across the face, telling him to get away from him. Jiasheng is in disbelief when Zhang Yu bows to Yu, apologizing for being misled by Jiasheng. Zhang Yu then tells Jiasheng to get on his knees to beg Yu. This shocks Yu, who starts to wonder if Yu is a hidden boss, which is why Zhang Yu is scared of him. Yu walks toward Jiasheng, and he quickly falls to his knees, begging for forgiveness all over again. Yu is forced to ask Jiasheng if he is tired of living since he keeps showing up just to get beaten like a rented drum. All Jiasheng can do is to beg for forgiveness, and Jiasheng asks him how much he is ready to pay for his mental health that has been damaged. Jiasheng falls to tears when he realizes that he has to pay for damages yet again. When Yu raised his hand to slap him, Jiasheng panicked and whipped out his bank card, offering 10,000 yuan like a man paying ransom for his own dignity. Yu's eyes lit up as he snatched the card, grinning as if he had just won the lottery. He even encouraged Jiasheng to keep attacking him. Jiasheng disagrees, swearing that he wouldn't come back because, honestly, his bank account couldn't survive another beating. Suddenly, Yu gets the feeling that someone has tampered with the trap he left at the villa. Without hesitation, he leaps into the air and flies toward the villa. Meanwhile, an assassin is tracking Yu, and the moment he realizes that he is on the move, he follows him. Yu arrives at the villa to find out that there is still a faint murderous aura lingering in the area. Just then, he notices that there are some dudes in the house. He descends to talk to them, and it turns out to be the Feng Shui disciples, Alan and his subordinates. Alan holds a sword in his hand to look scarier, and he berates Yu for destroying the formation that his master left at the house. Yu tries to play dumb, but this only gets Alan mad. Alan points his sword at Yu, but this earns him a punch on the face. Yu knocks him to the ground and collects the sword from him. Yu doesn't look scared as he stands between the angry disciples. Yu could have easily taken them out, but instead he flew away. As he flies away, he trash-talks them to make them angrier. Alan then orders his men to go after Yu. Without wasting time, the bunch chases after Yu. Yu knows that there is another group targeting him, but they are hesitating to make a move because they are not on the same side. Since the assassins are hiding out in the woods, Yu decides to go towards them. The leader of the assassins has the weird compass in his hand again, and this time they believe that they will definitely get Yu. Yu lands in the woods and grabs the attention of the assassins. The two groups soon run into each other. The two groups foolishly believe that they are each other's reinforcement for Yu. The assassins think the disciples are working for Yu, and vice versa. Once Yu realizes that he has successfully pitted the two groups against each other, he leaves them to fight to their heart's content. The two attack each other without holding back, while Yu sits in the distance to enjoy an apple. He mocked their stupidity between bites, laughing as they reduced each other's numbers. Finally, only the leaders from the two groups remain after they have terminated each other. Yu finally returns to the scene to help out the two. The moment Alan and the assassin spot Yu, both of them start hurling curses at him. It quickly becomes clear that they've both been sent to kill him. Then comes the awkward pause when they realize they were tricked into fighting each other earlier. Alan feels like an idiot, while the assassin looks like he just discovered his girlfriend is also dating his dad. Yu, of course, laughs at them, casually pointing out that it's not his fault they're both dumb because it's just their natural talent. Yu manages to rage-bait the assassin into attacking first. He tries smashing his head with the compass, but Yu easily dodges the hit. Yu lets him know that he is an incompetent assassin, which makes the insult sting harder than the dodge. Once the assassin is open, Yu kicks him so hard that he is sent flying into the distance. Alan is taken aback when he witnesses Yu's powerful footwork. The assassin finally gets back on his feet, and he admits that Yu is pretty strong, which is why he was able to take out their men. Yu then rage baits the two, telling them that he wants them to come at him at the same time because he hates time wasters. Alon is pissed that Yu is acting all cocky around him, and he whips out his axe to attack Yu. He smashes to the ground, releasing a powerful aura that travels toward Yu. Before the attack can reach Yu, he has changed positions. Alon only realizes when it is already too late that Yu is beside him. With just a single flick of his finger, Yu hits Alon on the head and ruptures his brain. Alon crashes to the ground cold, leaving the assassin to question everything that he knows. Yu then turns to him, telling him that it is time for him to enjoy what Alon just did. The assassin realizes how dangerous it is to be around Yu, and he tries to fly away, trying to act as if he is doing Yu a favor. However, Yu blocks his path before he can leave. Before the assassin can react, Yu pushes a sword into him. The assassin falls to the ground dead, and Yu tells him to practice more in his next life. Yu leaves the scene with everyone dead, and he returns to the university, like it's a regular day. At the Dakin project office, the team leader, Q, wonders what sort of person would be joining the team. Rousey is the first to enter the room to greet Q. Q tells Rousey and the rest of the team to prepare because they will be receiving a new member to the team. Momentarily, Yu enters the room, introducing himself as the new dude on the block. Rousey is surprised to see him in the room. Q walks over to welcome Yu to the team. Q is already flustered just by looking at Yu, and she admits that he looks so fine. Another dude on the team, Shen, who has a crush on Q, notices that Q is all over Yu, and he doesn't like this. The dude decides to teach Yu a lesson. While Yu and Q are talking, Yu asks her where Professor Wang is, and she reveals that the professor is currently attending an important meeting, which is why he will not be able to come to the office for the day. Just then, Shen puts his plan into motion, and he flicks a pearl into Yu's pocket. He plans to use this to discredit Yu later, but Yu quickly notices that there is a strange item on him. Suddenly, Shen screams at the top of his voice, telling the security guys to come inside the room because someone just stole something. The security guys enter and they ask him who stole. He wastes no time pointing to Yu. Yu finally understands that the dude actually threw the item into his pocket to frame him. Q already begins to suspect Yu as she questions him, asking him what he stole. Yu replies that he didn't steal anything, but the annoying dude insists that he saw him take the Suihu pearl. Yu is not ready to argue and he urges the guards to search him. The guards proceed to do this, but they find nothing on him. The dude is shocked to see this, and suddenly, Yu twists the table, telling the guards that Shen was the one who stole the pearl, and he only tried to frame him to cover up his crime. Shen gets defensive, telling Yu not to slander him. He mentions that he is a senior on the project team and would not make sense for him to steal anything. Yu urges him to calm down and surrender himself to a search if he is truly innocent. The dude then agrees to be searched since he has nothing to hide. The security team gets down to do their thing, leaving the dude to wonder why they didn't find the pearl on Yu since he clearly flicked it into his pocket. He is in the middle of this thought when the security guy pulls out the pearl from his pocket, shocking him. Yu cannot believe her eyes when the pearl is removed from Shen's pocket. Shen has no way of defending himself because he clearly threw the pearl in Yu's clothes. Yu laughs at Shen for trying to go against him at his current level. Apparently, the moment Yu noticed that there was a strange item in his pocket, he removed it and threw it into Shen's pocket. Without hesitation, Q lets Shen know that he is fired. As he is dragged away by the security guys, he tries begging Q for another chance. Yu basically lets him know that he will always reap whatever he sows. Q then apologizes to Yu, telling him that he shouldn't have gone through such on his first day. Yu smiles, assuring Q that he has no issue as long as the truth has been discovered. Later that night, the team went out to have a fun time. Yu takes them to the outdoor restaurant where Wooting is working. Q is the first to ask him why he chose the restaurant when there are so many others to choose from. Yu then replies that there is no particular reason for doing it other than the fact that he is trying to support a friend. Just then, Wooting shows up to serve them. Yu then asks her when she will be taking him to the house. Wooting is taken aback when she hears this, and Yu reminds her that they can actually go to the house at that instant to avoid delays. Rousey sees the interaction between the two and assumes that something is going on between them. Yu then stands up, telling everyone that he needs to leave, but lets them know that they are free to continue enjoying themselves. Yu then holds Wooting's hand as he leads her away, leaving Rousey to conclude that the two have something going on. Momentarily, they arrive at the apartment, and she shows Yu to his room. She tells him that the rent is just 500 yuan a month. Yu immediately whips out the 10,000 card, telling Wooting that he will pay more when he moves in. Wooting is surprised to see this, and she asks Yu why he is paying so much money at once. Yu replies that he plans to stay at the apartment for a long time, so the money is not much to him. Wooting is happy to hear this, and she urges Yu to get some rest. Standing at the window, Yu notices that the spiritual energy in the area is quite rich. This pushes you to start meditating, but suddenly, he notices something outside. He immediately jumps out through the window to check it out. Yu is surprised to see the Lion King outside the apartment. He wonders what the dog is doing in the area until he realizes that the dog is going up against a spirit beast. Yu immediately jumps into the action, and he jumps toward the spirit beast. He lands a punch on the spirit beast, weakening it. The spirit beast roars at Yu, but Yu shuts it up by punching it really hard to take it out. This defeats the beast, and it leaves a spiritual core that Yu consumes. Yu takes in the power of the core, and he levitates into the air like an angel. After he is done absorbing the power of the core, he notices that the dog is acting weird. He wonders what is wrong with the dog, and suddenly the dog dives into the trash behind him. Yu still remains confused as he doesn't know what is wrong with the dog. Suddenly, the dog digs out a spirit vein, catching Yu's attention. Yu is surprised to see this, as he wasn't expecting to find a spirit vein. He finally realizes why there was a spirit beast with a strong spiritual energy in the area. Yu smiles as he figures out that the area is a feng shui treasure land, and it provides the right avenue for him to cultivate. First technique he aims to cultivate is the 1,000-mile eye technique. He sits down to meditate and take in all the energy that he can. He is impressed by the amount of spiritual energy in the area, which is helping the 1,000-mile eye technique to work the way it's supposed to. Suddenly, he senses that something is horribly wrong. He activates his full senses to scan the apartment, and this is when he spots Wuding entering the bathtub. He immediately gets a nosebleed from the beautiful milk-like skin that he is secretly staring at like a creepy anime lover. Following morning, Yu notices that there is a bit of commotion at the house, and he steps out to check. He sees an ambulance driving away, and he walks up to Wuding to ask her what the problem is. Apparently, her mother collapsed, and the ambulance that had just left was carrying her mother. Yu is surprised to hear this, and he asks Wuding to take him to her mother. At the hospital, the doctors tried everything in their power, but they concluded that Wuding's mother could not be saved. Apparently, her illness revolves around internal cold and external heat, which is something they have never seen before. The medical doctors believe that even a divine doctor won't be able to save Wuding's mother in her current stage. Just then, Yu enters the room, telling the doctors to wait before they make their final conclusion. Wuding also rushes over to her mother to check on her. She begs the doctors to help save her dying mother because she is the only family she has left. But the doctors let her know that they want to help, but her mother's illness is far beyond what they can do. While Wuding is crying her eyes out, begging the doctors for help, Yu finally cuts in, telling the doctors that he has a way of treating the so-called rare disease. The doctors immediately get defensive, asking Yu if he is trying to question their medical skills. Yu assures them that this is not what he meant, but he is only stating the obvious facts. One of the doctors demands to know what Yu studied in the university and why he is so arrogant. Yu basically tells them that he is self-taught. The other doctor takes this as an offense, questioning why someone who is self-taught is acting all big and mighty in front of them. The doctors then tell Yu to get out of the room because he is not welcome. Yu then reminds them that a human life is at stake, and it won't be a crime if he tries to help out. The doctors are left contemplating what to do among themselves. The lead doctor then tells Yu that he can give him permission to try to treat the woman, but he needs to get consent from the family first. In addition to that, anything that happens to the woman, Yu will take responsibility for it. Yu accepts the terms given to him, but the doctors remain doubtful. Since Wuding is the only family the woman asks, the doctors ask her if she is willing to allow Yu to treat her mother. Wuding is in a dilemma about this, but Yu assures her that he can help her mother. She decides to trust Yu, and she gives her consent. After all, her mother's condition is already at the critical level, and she is ready to do anything to help her mother. Once Yu has the consent that he needs, he whips out a scroll that houses his needles. He grabs a few acupuncture needles and inserts them into the designated points. With the needles in place, he starts to input spiritual energy, connecting the meridians and regulating yin and yang spiritual energy. This kicks into the woman's system and causes her to cough up blood all of a sudden. Wuding grabs her mother's hand, asking her if she is okay. When the doctor sees this, he tells Yu to prepare himself for jail because he has just ended someone's life. Yu is surprised to hear this, asking the doctor how he ended someone's life. The doctor grabs him by the shoulder, telling him to look at Wuding's mother. Just then, the woman slightly opens her eyes to see her daughter sitting beside her. Wuding asks her how she is feeling, and she assures her daughter that she is much better. Yu lets the woman know that she will soon feel better since she has just finished receiving treatment. The doctors are taken aback when they see this, and they start asking Yu who he is. Yu smiles, telling the doctors that he is just an ordinary student. The doctors have no choice but to start apologizing for treating Yu the way they did. Yu lets them know that there is no need to apologize, but urges them to keep their eyes open next time. When the woman finally regains her strength, she asks Wuding who Yu is. Wuding tells her mother that Yu is her classmate and he is the one who just saved her life. Wuding's mother is pleased to hear this and she thanks Yu for the help. Since Yu just did something of great importance for her, Wuding starts thinking of ways to repay the debt. Yu then tells her that he has a simple request. He demands that they go back to the house. Wuding is surprised to hear this, and she wonders why he wants them to return to the house. She is already imagining herself satisfying Yu, but when they arrive at the house, Yu has her cook a lot of dishes for her. He sits down and consumes everything at a go. After he is done eating, he lets out a loud burp to show that he is satisfied. Wuding then asks her if cooking is the repayment that he wants. Yu says yes, but Wuding doesn't think this covers what Yu has done for her. Yu then tells the lady that he is retiring to his room to sleep. After he is gone, Wuding concludes that Yu is a good person, and she starts imagining herself marrying Yu. When Yu reaches his room, he starts to cultivate again, aiming to break through to the next level. Just then, the Lion King rushes into the room, barking at Yu as if it is trying to tell him something. Yu screams at the dog, asking it why it is busy disturbing him. Suddenly, it dawns on him that the dog is trying to tell him something. Apparently, someone is trying to hurt Joe. The moment Yu hears this, he immediately flies out of the room, grabbing the Lion King with him. He heads to the villa, promising to terminate anyone who tries to harm his master's wife. At the villa, Joe has invited the Feng Shui master, Yi, over to the manor. Apparently, a certain area in the manor collapsed, and Yi had already warned Joe that this would happen. Joe thanked him for the warning because there was no casualty due to this. He assures Joe that he is only doing his job since he has been working with Grandpa Jiang for many years. He then tells Joe that the formation he left in the area has broken because of this. He lets Joe know that he will need to use extraordinary means to rearrange the formation this time around. Joe assures Yi that whatever he requests will be provided for him, as long as it means saving Jiang's life. He then tells Joe that he doesn't need anything too precious but a drop of blood from Joe's heart. Joe is confused by this, and Yi explains to her that the blood needs to come from her heart. However, he assures her that he has a way of extracting the blood that won't require surgery. Joe then tells Yi that she is willing to do what he wants as long as it means saving her father. Since she has agreed to this, Yi suggests that they enter the house so he can extract the heart's blood. After they are gone, Yi's disciples make fun of Joe for being so gullible. They cannot believe that all it took their master was just a few words to convince her. Apparently, there is no way she is going to survive if blood is taken from her heart. The disciples then start to rearrange their master's formation. They begin the spell by imbuing their power into papers that are sent into the air, aiming to cover the entire area with it. The spell is about to take action when a storm suddenly appears from above, shattering their spell. This shocks them as they initially believe that it is a natural storm. Just then, a large sword appears right above them, and standing on the sword is the Lion King. The disciples are surprised to see a dog flying on a large sword. Unknown to them, Yu is standing beside the dog and he is burning with rage. The moment the disciples spot him, they release magical blasts from their hands, aiming to take Yu down from the sky. Yu grabs his sword, and all it takes is one swing from it to destroy everything that they are trying to do. The aura from the sword travels toward the two, forcing them to start panicking. Yu figures out that the two are responsible for the formation that was on the house. The disciples get a bit of courage when they realize that Yu is just a normal human. They believe that all he knows how to do is scare people, and they decide to attack him. Yu can sense their cultivation level, and he realizes that it is pretty shallow. From what he is seeing, he doesn't think the two are responsible for the formation, and he concludes that there is someone else involved. The two set up an attack formation to ambush Yu. They cast a spell to use demonic powers, and the entire area is covered in a demonic magic circle. Yu is surprised to see that there are still people in the modern world who tap into demonic powers. One of the disciples comes running at him at a great speed, but Yu meets him halfway with a cold breath. This throws the disciple away, leaving him stunned as he is trying to gather himself together. Yu dashes toward him and grabs him by the neck, asking him why he is using his abilities for evil. Since he has taken the path of evil, Yu says it falls to him to do the right thing. He chokes him before throwing him to the ground. The dude raises his head to warn the other disciple, telling him that Yu is too strong. He suggests that he run away, and after saying this, he passes out. The last disciple senses the danger in the air as Yu walks toward him. He runs toward the manor, hoping to tell his master so that he can help them out. However, Yu appears right in front of him, expressing his surprise that they actually have a master. Yu grabs the disciple by the neck, demanding that he tell him where his master is. The disciple starts to beg, telling Yu that he will tell him everything that he knows. He reveals that his master is inside the manor, and he was the one who ordered them to set up the formation. Yu then asks him about his master's identity. The disciple reveals that his master was originally a great master from the Longhu Mountain, but he was expelled because he was doing things that didn't align with the sect's rules. Later on, the master started his own sect and recruited many disciples. After this, he accidentally discovered that the current manor was surrounded by clouds and mist. He concluded that there was a treasure beneath it. Although the said treasure would have taken at least 100 years to surface, he decides to speed up the process by coming up with a plan. He tricked Jiang into buying the abandoned building on the Yunwu Mountain and rebuilt it into the Yunwu Villa. He then secretly set up the formation to absorb the energy of the people living in the villa, thus accelerating the growth of the treasure. After hearing this, everything finally becomes clear to Yu. The disciple begs Yu, telling him that he has told him everything that he knows. He wants to be spared, but Yu lets him know that anyone who practices evil deserves to die. Yu unleashes a powerful dissipation spell and hits the disciple with it. The dude loses his life from this, and Yu figures out that it is time to check on Zhou because she seems to be in danger. However, he realizes that his identity will be exposed if he walks into the room the way he is. Yu figures out that hiding his identity is paramount. Inside the house, Zhou positions herself comfortably and tells you that she is ready for the process to begin. He then whips out a dagger, shocking Zhou. She asks you why he is holding a dagger when he clearly told her that the process won't require cutting the flesh. He mocks Zhou, telling her that she has been fooled. He dashes toward Zhou with the dagger, but Yu shows up just in time to stop the man. Yu is apparently hiding his identity by wearing a ball mask, which covers only half of his face. Before Yu knows what is happening, he gets punched so hard that he is sent across the room. Yu calls him a shameless old man who is trying to harm an innocent lady. It turns out that Zhou didn't even recognize Yu, and this is all thanks to his trash costume. He demands to know Yu's identity and why he is disturbing his plans. He unleashes a malevolent spirit at Yu, but Yu dashes at the spirit and punches it back to the spirit realm with just a single strike. He is shocked when he sees this, since this is a malevolent spirit that he has been raising for 10 years. He is still stunned when Yu reaches him. At the last second, he is able to put up a powerful barrier that saves him from Yu's punch. He then commands the malevolent spirits under his command to come forth. He boasts, telling Yu that the malevolent spirits are his trump card. A bunch of malevolent spirits emerge and charge toward Yu. To counter this, Yu unleashes a spell that protects his true spirit. This causes spiritual chains to emerge and grab the annoying spirits coming for him. The chains drain the life out of the annoying spirits, leaving Yu totally shocked. He starts questioning Yu's identity and why he has such a strong cultivation. Yu grabs one of the chains and mocks Yi, telling him that he is his father. He swings the chain at Yi, and Yi realizes that he has no way of going up against Yu. He decides to retreat before he gets himself sent to the afterlife. He barely escapes the wrath of the chain as he jumps out of the window. Yu lets him know that there is no escape room for him. He dashes through the villa's garden, believing that he has escaped, until the Lion King appears behind him. The Lion King knocks him to the ground and keeps him restrained. Yu then tells the Lion King to terminate Yi since he tried to mess with it. The dog does as told and bites into his neck, taking him off the board. Yu pats the dog on the head, commending it for being such an intelligent animal. He tells the dog that it needs to start following him. Just then, Yu notices that Zhou and her bodyguards are approaching the scene. He immediately vanishes before the group shows up. Zhou and her guards arrive there only to find his body and no presence of the person who saved her life. She concludes that she was saved by a cultivation master, and she promises to give the said master a gift if she ever runs into him again. As they fly away on the giant sword, Yu tells the dog that he has lost a lot of spiritual energy, and he wants to replenish his strength. Yu manages to find a location that seems to be rich in spiritual energy. He tells the Lion King to protect him while he cultivates in the area. He promises the Lion King that he will give it some of the spiritual energy as a reward once he is done. Just then, a strange hand taps him from behind, and what follows is a voice telling him that he shouldn't be in the area. Yu turns around to see two dudes in suits staring at him. Yu stares at them with anger swelling inside him, and he asks them why he can't use the area. The two mention that they are Huo's bodyguards. Apparently, Huo is in the area, and he is currently practicing his fist technique, so no one is allowed to disturb him. Yu stares at the said Huo, and he almost dies of disgust when he sees the fist technique that he is practicing. Yu tells the dude that the old man is basically engaging in fancy footwork. The guards are pissed when they hear this, and they threaten to terminate Yu, but Huo stops them. One of the guards tries to call Huo's attention to the fact that he was just insulted, but he lets his guard know that he is aware of this. Huo then turns to Yu to confirm if he truly said his fist technique is trash. Yu lets him know that his fist technique lacks a few movements that don't allow it to exert his full power. Yu compares it to a food without salt, which basically means it looks good, but it is trash. Yu is pissed when he hears this, and he tells Yu that the technique was passed down to him from his ancestors. He lets Yu know that he won't forgive him if he can't back up his slander with evidence as to why the technique is trash. Yu then offers Yu a deal. He tells him that he will help him perfect his trash technique, and in return, he will leave the space for him. Yu declares that Yu is an arrogant fellow, but he lets him know that if he can perfect the fist technique, he will let him have the space and also take him as his master. Once they are in agreement, Yu tells the old man that he will only demonstrate the technique once. He gets into positions and swings his arm to generate enough force. Once he does this, he unleashes the force at a tree in front of him. The force from him is enough to shatter the tree. Yu's jaw nearly dislocates from hitting the ground, and his guards are busy thanking their stars that they didn't try throwing hands with Yu, because they'd be fertilizer by now. Yu immediately regards Yu as his master, and he apologizes for being rash. Yu then asks him if he is ready to give up the space, and Yu says yes. Yu boasts that he is a man of his word, and he leaves the space to Yu. Yu then tells Yu to take his guards and leave because he needs his privacy. Yu then tells his men that it is time for them to leave. Yu also informs Lion King that he can now start guarding the area while he cultivates. While Yu and his men are leaving, Yu tells his guards to find out everything they can about Yu because he would like to know more about him. While meditating, Yu thinks about the many things that have happened in recent times. He wonders why there are so many coincidences in the things that are happening around him. Joe seems the same, just like 2,000 years ago, and there seem to be cultivators in the modern world, too. Yu figures out that he needs to find out more about this modern era. Just then, he puts a call through to Q, asking her if there is any place in the school where he can get more information about 2,000 years ago. Q mentions that there is limited information in the school, but coincidentally, the project team just discovered an archaeological site, and it is said to be a tomb from 2,000 years ago. She tells Yu that he is free to come with them if he is interested. Yu agrees to come, telling the lady that he will meet her that night. That night, Yu meets with Q and the rest of the project team at the archaeological site. Yu notices that there are men in suits with them, and he asks Q about it. Q reveals that the guards who have been hired to protect them. Apparently, a team had gone into the tomb before, but none of them came back, which is why they hired the guards. Kyan starts shaking, saying she shouldn't have come to the site. Q stares at her disgustingly and tells her to stop saying trash. She then tells them that it is time they descend into the tomb. Upon entering the tomb, they are surprised as to how big it is inside. Q tells the team that their mission is to find the missing archaeological team and also bring back valuable treasures so that the school can conduct research on them. As they move deeper into the tomb, Yu starts getting a strange sense of feeling around him. Q notices that he is acting strangely, and she asks him what the problem is. Yu claims that he is only feeling a bit dizzy. It turns out that there are some masked men hiding in the shadows. They were the ones who terminated the first team that was sent, and they still plan to do the same to Yu and his team. Apparently, they are there to grab treasures, and they plan to monopolize them. The men in shadows unleash a bunch of needles at the team, but Yu quickly catches on to this. He warns the rest of the team and manages to grab the needles before anyone is hurt. The guards pull out their weapons, ready to engage the bad guys. Kyan and Rousey start shaking in fear, but Q tries to calm them down. The guards turn out to be a useless bunch, as they are easily taken out by the bad guys using needles. The whole room erupts into chaos as the bad guys gain the edge in the fight. Want to know how you fared in the fight against the bad guys? Don't forget to subscribe and wait for the next upload. As always, see you in the next one. Peace.